is, sorry, that's just what I've been working on. I'm really excited about one of the songs. I'll tell you a little bit more about that a little bit later. About one of the songs that's coming up soon. If you've been paying attention this week, you can probably spot that and tell me what, you'll know what it is, but I'll give you a hint later. It is Friday, July 2nd, and we changed our plans. We're still in town. We decided to stick around for the 4th of July. I had mentioned last week that I might not be here, but I am here. And been having a really good time working on some of the songs. Some of the things I want to talk about today. A couple of questions came up about, especially about using a capo and what keys things are in and stuff like that. So I'm gonna talk about in particular about I've Just Seen a Face, because that was one of the songs that somebody was needed a little clarification on. So that's coming up a little bit soon, in a little while. And we'll talk about what Bob and Doug are working on and what I'm working on, although I just gave you a big hint there. I'll give you more later. That's kind of like what we'll wrap it up with, I think. And what else? I think that's it. I want to talk about some of the songs, some of the lessons that we had this week. I started revisiting recently, started thinking about the idea of putting together even packs of complete albums by the Beatles. And I started looking at songs that we could do from, like, Help, and I thought, oh, we've never done Another Girl. And so that was one of the lessons that happened this week. And it's a pretty interesting song. It's pretty straightforward. You know, if you haven't looked at the lesson yet, so with a little bit of bar chord work and practice on just hitting off beats, it's pretty straightforward. And I maybe unfairly ragged on Paul's lead playing. Oh, I'm doing it again. Let's not talk about the leads in Another Girl. The guy's almost 80 years old, and that was 60 years ago. Wow, really close. 55, I guess, huh? Anyway, so that was one of the lessons we got out this week. And then, like I mentioned in the lesson, I totally thought I had done a lesson on Long, Long Time. Turns out I didn't, but we did have a fly on the wall of me working on that with one of my students, with Lisa. And I kind of figured people could figure it out from there, but it really wasn't fair to like not have a little more formal one. And that, like, has happened recently with Superstar and Masquerade and Time. And a year ago, Eye in the Sky. You know, I start working on a song like that, and then you know what I do with it. Well, anyway, that will be coming up too. Oh, I shouldn't talk about the coming up stuff. I'll save that for later. But as you could, I'm sure you can guess that when I start messing around with a song like that, and then I end the lesson with just improvising around with it. Of course, it wasn't as improvising as that. Right there, you wouldn't necessarily even know what song it is. But it's a great progression to mess with. So, let's see. Was that it? Yeah, we only got out those two this week because Vanessa's taking a little break. She'll be back soon, and everybody else is sort of just getting back to their routine. But we do have stuff coming really soon from the rest of the staff. And I think that's it for what I wanted to talk about as far as old songs. Yeah, that was it. Got those two cool things. I did, I did a Poco song a little while ago, Keep on Trying, and that really the idea popped into my head that it's like there are a lot of not, and I've mentioned for the last even couple months that we're missing some bands, and if you'd like to see somebody in particular, the best thing is put up a post in that listening post about that artist, but then do what I did, put in like 6 videos of their songs. One of my students is working on stuff by Kate Wolf, and I would love to see your guys' suggestions of Kate Wolf songs that you might like to play. Great Love of Mine is the one that Sandy is working on. But that made me think, I bet there's a whole bunch of other Kate Wolf songs that people would like to know how to play. And what was interesting about that song, I kind of turned it into, sort of turned the tables on her when she asked about learning it. I said, no, you listen to it and figure it out. It's on the piano. Slow down. It only uses 5 chords. Figure out what key it's in, figure out what the likely chords are and stuff like that. So we'll see how Sandy does with that next week. But that partly again fueled the idea of what, when I put up the post of the 5 or 6 Poco songs that happen to be some of my favorites. And then the next day we saw a couple of people weighed in on Richard Thompson. Richard Thompson has some fabulous tunes, and too many for me to look at them and pick one of the probably 20 or 30 that might make good lessons. So I really need the community opinion here of what to do about like Richard Thompson. So if somebody who's a big fan of his could put 5 or 6 videos, the motorcycle song is one that I've always toyed with. It's challenging. So anyway, I'll get more to that later. So please start contributing to the listening post thread with bands. More bands than even like one song, but because then other people could listen to it and say, oh man, you know what? You only have 2 Harry Chapin songs up here, like we've talked about for a while. And I started thinking there are a lot of I had every album of Harry's, and if somebody wants to hear or do a lesson on short stories or WOLD or Mr. Tanner or the Mayor of Candor Lied, I don't think we're going to do that one, but that's a knife twisting song of Harry's. You can look them all up and check them out later. So anyway, that was the first thing I want to talk about. Now, the other thing is I want to get into this what key a song is in and what to do with a capo, because in particular the lesson on I've Just Seen a Face, the Beatles played it in the key of A. The piano player is in the key of A, and you can play it on the guitar in A and that's what one section of my lessons goes through, playing the chords in A. That is not how they did it. They did it capoing to the 2nd fret and playing in G, meaning they're thinking in G, but they're not really playing in G. They're thinking G, E minor, C, D. But the capo makes those chords really A, F sharp minor, D, and E. And so it kind of boils down to the absolute key versus the relative key. So when I play I've Just Seen a Face in A, because I don't have a capo, if you don't have a capo on, those 2 things are the same. The relative key is the absolute key. So this concept of the relative key only comes up when you're capoing or tuning down. If you've got your guitar tuned down a whole step, as is the case with McCartney's Yesterday. He was thinking in G. He had his guitar tuned a whole step low, which meant his G chord is not a G chord anymore. It's an F chord. And so for those of us that were, young and impressionable at the time, and we found music to Yesterday, and it said the first chord is F, we're thinking, I'm not going to play this song. I hate bar chords. The first chord is F, absolutely, but relatively, he was thinking G. And so he was playing G to F sharp minor to B7 to E minor. And so early songbooks, songbooks from especially from the mid-60s, were put out by piano players, or they were piano arrangements. So they put Yesterday in F. Well, when you tune the guitar down a whole step and play G, that's how that puts you in F. Now, back to I've Just Seen a Face. The piano music is in the key of A, and the chords are A to F sharp minor to D to E to A. Now, the guitar did not do that. The guitar put a capo at the 2nd fret and played G. You can hear that. That's the same chord. If I play an A chord here, and I put a G chord capoed at the 2nd fret, they sound the same. Well, now, this is still in the key of A, but I'm thinking in G. I'm in the relative key of G. I'm thinking G, E minor. Such a great tune. It reminds me of Foggy Mountain Breakdown, which is very similar. So, again, when I am thinking in G, but with the capo at 2, I'm really in A. Now, I can't sing it in A. Well, I can't sing it anyway. It gets too high. Oh, no, I can get up there. That's a D. Okay, that's a D in G. In A, that's an E. Okay, stop. I'm getting carried away. But if I wanted to play it really in the key of G, I just take the capo off and play the chords in G. You can hear it's lower now. Played that lick. Never mind. I'll do another one. Okay. So hopefully that clears it up. If you really want to play the song in G, you just follow my instruction in the key of G without the capo. Take the capo off and move your G chord down to a normal G chord. So hopefully that clears up some of any of the confusion that anybody had with that song or any others. I also realized in the lesson I talked about something. In general, it's really neat to do, when you have 2 guitars, to play them, put a capo on one someplace and play a different, relatively in a different key. And that usually works really well to have one guitar 5 frets higher than the other. Here's a song that does that. One guitar is done with a capo at the 2nd, doing this. Thinking in the key of A minor, but the capo makes it really the key of B minor. So the piano player is playing in B minor, this guitar is thinking in A minor, and the 12-string guitar, of course, which is capoed at the 7th, loosen that capo up if you go that high, is thinking in E minor. Anyway, that's part of how they got such a cool texture in that, you know. One guitar capoed at the 7th fret thinking in E minor, which is really B minor. Another guitar capoed at the 2nd thinking in A minor, which is really B minor. Or I could have played it in B minor. And now I'm thinking B minor, F sharp, A, E, G, okay, that's enough of that for now. Next week, here's a couple things that everybody's working on. Doug is working on, this has been happening for a little while, and he's just run into a few little obstacles that, save the details for later. On learning to play better with a metronome, because that's something that a lot of people are not really, you get a metronome, and anyway. So one of the first things I have people do with a metronome is get it tapping. I don't have one handy here, right? It's right over there on the desk, but that's okay. So get a beat going. And then just practice playing notes on it. Sometimes I have students that it's like Steve Martin in The Jerk. Can't find that beat. You got to really, it might even be the place to start would be just tap with the click. Just get your foot going. Then work on getting that note going with your foot. Then work on eighth notes before we worry about triplets and quintuplets and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, okay, so that's coming up. Bob is working on a solo version of another Chicago song for us. That is really cool. What do I have happening? Oh, Yeah, by the way, the thing I played back at the beginning is one of the five or six Poco songs that I put on that list. So I'm not even going to tell you what it is right now. Go back, listen to those 5 or 6 Poco songs. It's not this one. Nope. It's there. Oh, it's higher next. Yeah, we might have to get to that one. Anyway, but I got started on another project that I'm now really excited about. So here's just the teaser for that. Melody's not going to be. Oh, well, you know what that is already, I'm sure. See if we can do it. Okay, there you go. We are revisiting Simon and Garfunkel and Poco next week. I hope everybody has a fun holiday weekend. And in California we don't do fireworks. Most of the country probably can, but we haven't had a drop of rain here in a really long time. And anyway, so we don't. I guess they do shows at baseball games and stuff like that. So we'll just be having a little family barbecue. Actually, tomorrow, not Sunday. We got to get it out of the way on the 3rd. So some of the kids and significant others and their friends are coming over. So let's see. Let me double check my list. I think I mentioned everything I wanted to get to today. Yes, sirree, Bob. That's it. Happy 4th. See you next week.